population of the world, 8 billion people. If you think it's hard to change the lives of 10 people, change their lives forever, you're wrong. I saw it happen every day in Iraq and Afghanistan. A young Army officer makes a decision to go left instead of right down a road in Baghdad, and the 10 soldiers with him are saved from a close-in ambush. In Kandahar province, Afghanistan, a non-commissioned officer from the female engagement team senses that something isn't right and directs the infantry platoon away from a 500-pound IED, saving the lives of a dozen soldiers. But if you think about it, not only were those soldiers saved by the decisions of one person, but their children were saved, and their children's children. Generations were saved by one decision, one person. But changing the world can happen anywhere, and anyone can do it. So what starts here can indeed change the world. But the question is, what will the world look like after you change it? Well, I'm confident that it will look much, much better. But if you'll humor this old sailor for just a moment, I have a few suggestions that may help you on your way to a better world. And while these lessons were learned during my time in the military, I can assure you that it matters not whether you ever served a day in uniform. It matters not your gender, your ethnic or religious background, your orientation, or your social status. Our struggles in this world are similar, and the lessons to overcome those struggles and to move forward, changing ourselves and changing the world around us, will apply equally to all. I've been a Navy SEAL for 36 years, but it all began when I left UT for basic SEAL training in Coronado, California. Basic SEAL training is 6 months of long, torturous runs in the soft sand, midnight swims in the cold water off San Diego, obstacle courses, unending calisthenics, days without sleep, and always being cold, wet, and miserable. It is 6 months of being constantly harassed by professionally trained warriors who seek to find the weak of mind and body and eliminate them from ever becoming a Navy SEAL. But the training also seeks to find those students who can lead in an environment of constant stress, chaos, failure, and hardships. To me, basic SEAL training was a lifetime of challenges crammed into 6 months. So here are the 10 lessons I learned from basic SEAL training that hopefully will be of value to you as you move forward in life. Every morning in SEAL training, my instructors, who at the time were all Vietnam veterans, would show up in my barracks room, and the first thing they'd do was inspect my bed. If you did it right, the corners would be square, the covers would be pulled tight, the pillow centered just under the headboard, and the extra blanket folded neatly at the foot of the rack. It was a simple task, mundane at best, but every morning we were required to make our bed to perfection. It seemed a little ridiculous at the time, particularly in light of the fact that we were aspiring to be real warriors, tough, battle-hardened SEALs. But the wisdom of this simple act has been proven to me many times over. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and will encourage you to do another task, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made. That you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. So if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. During SEAL training, the students are all broken down into boat crews. Each crew is 7 students, 3 on each side of a small rubber boat, and 1 coxswain to help guide the dinghy. Every day your boat crew forms up on the beach and is instructed to get through the surf zone and paddle several miles down the coast. In the winter, the surf off San Diego can get to be 8 to 10 feet high, and it is exceedingly difficult to paddle through the plunging surf unless everyone digs in. Every paddle must be synchronized to the stroke count of the coxswain. Everyone must exert equal effort, or the boat will turn against the wave and be unceremoniously dumped back on the beach. For the boat to make it to its destination, everyone must paddle. You can't change the world alone. You will need some help. And to truly get from your starting point to your destination takes friends, colleagues, the goodwill of strangers, and a strong coxswain to guide you. If you want to change the world, find someone to help you paddle. Over a few weeks of difficult training, my SEAL class, which started with 150 men, was down to just 42. There were now 6 boat crews of 7 men each. I was in the boat with the tall guys, but the best boat crew we had was made up of the little guys, the Munchkin crew we call them. No one was over 5'5". The Munchkin boat crew had 1 American Indian, 1 African American, 1 Polish American, 1 Greek American, 1 Italian American, and 2 tough kids from the Midwest. They out-paddled, outran, and outswam all the other boat crews. The big men in the other boat crews would always make good-natured fun of the tiny little flippers the Munchkins put on their tiny little feet prior to every swim. But somehow these little guys, from every corner of the nation and the world, always had the last laugh, swimming faster than everyone and reaching the shore long before the rest of us.
He said all corners of the world. Shio, konnichiwa. Bien kreska. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hello, how are you? Namaste, apikesina. Xin chao, ni hao mo. Bonjour, comment allez-vous? Mahaba, Salaika Salam. Naturally. Fireworks, my name is Taz. Through the valleys and the terrains of the Appalachian Mountains, through the winding turn and curves and the monstrous hills of the Great Smoky Mountain, into the towns and the small surrounding city of this historic land, with many history of the place and its people. It's also a place that many call home. People at corners of the world somehow find their home here in the Smokies, which transform each and every one to be a part of the core of a county, a town, a city, a state, and a country. How remarkable is this story? A multi-race and genders are a part of our daily success. It's an unbelievable diversity sculpture in this place of beauty, character, and love. Welcome to the time of the day where we can enjoy the free gift of life. I've discovered happiness is there in everything and in everyone, and in coordination too. What he was saying, are you the Munchkin crew? Are we the Munchkin crew? Are they the Moses? Are they the flower that grew from the concrete? It's unbelievable, and it's remarkable for this sculpture. It's remarkable for that sculpture to be in that position, to exert and apply the necessary needs they had to outdo and outlast that training together. But the Munchkin crew, like you said, they didn't exceed without each other. The only way that they exceeded was with each other. And so thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this. And if you're there, you can still listen to
not your will to succeed, not your color, not your ethnic background, not your education, not your social status. If you want to change the world, measure a person by the size of their heart, not by the size of their flippers. Several times a week, the instructors would line up the class and do a uniform inspection. It was exceptionally thorough. Your hat had to be perfectly starched, your uniform immaculately pressed, your belt buckle shiny and void of...
And I love how he does this speech also,
no matter how much effort,
because it's just straight to the point.
Polishing your belt buckle, it just wasn't good enough. The instructors would find something wrong. For failing the uniform inspection, the student had to run, fully clothed, into the surf zone, then wet from head to toe, roll around on the beach until every part of your body was covered with sand.
This was one also the discovery.
Sugar cookie. You stayed in the uniform the rest of the day, cold, wet, and sandy. There were many a student who just couldn't accept the fact that all their efforts were in vain, and no matter how hard they tried to get the uniform right, it went unappreciated. Those students didn't make it through training. Those students didn't understand the purpose of the drill. You were never going to succeed. You were never going to have a perfect uniform. The instructors weren't going to allow it. Sometimes, no matter how well you prepare, well you perform, you still end up as a sugar cookie. It's just the way life is sometimes. If you want to change the world, get over being a sugar cookie and keep moving forward.
Fireworks. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for supporting this. I appreciate each and every one. Tons of love for everyone. Right now, that was an extremely important, and it was extremely humble, humble, humble.
The exact day, March 27th, 1975. I was helping my mother in a beauty shop. My mother owned a beauty shop up in Mount Vernon. And there was this older woman who was considered one of the elders in the town. And I didn't know her personally, but I was looking in the mirror. And every time I looked in the mirror, I could see her behind me. And she was staring at me. She just kept looking at me. Every time I looked at her, she kept giving me these strange looks. So she finally took the dryer off her head and she said something I'll never forget. First of all, she said, somebody give me a piece of paper. Give me a piece of paper. She said, young boy, I have a prophecy, a spiritual prophecy. She said, you are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. I began at Fordham University as a pre-med student. I took a course called cardiac morphogenesis. I couldn't read it, I couldn't say it, I sure couldn't pass it. So then I decided to go into pre-law, then journalism. And with no academic focus, my grades took off in their own direction. I was a 1.8 GPA one semester, and the university very politely suggested that it might be better to take some time off. I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, there is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living. Fail big. You will fail at some point in your life.
Do I consider myself failing? No, I never thought of failing either. I never thought about fear either. And like that's why maybe some part of it I came up with not failing. Never failing. Could never fail. Can't fail. That's maybe we have determination at the tip of the spur. Hope on one side and faith on the other. Hope on one side, fear on the other, and if you should so stumble, fate catches us all. Fate always catches us all, isn't it? Yeah. The minute you turn to fate, always catches us all. Always. But I'm grateful for this time. I'm grateful for this experience. I hope you enjoy those two speeches and the two speakers through the valleys and the terrains, the Appalachian Mountains, through the winding turn and curves and the monstrous hills of the Great Smoky Mountain, into the towns and the small surrounding city of this historic land, where many history of the place and its people. It's also a place that many call home. People at corners of the world have somehow find their home here in the Smokies, which transform each and every one to be a part of the core of a county, a town, a city, a state, and a country. How remarkable is the story. I admire this in these two speeches and the first McRaven, because when I started listening to these different speakers, this one stood out to me. McRaven really stood out to me. And it stood out to me based on how firm and how constructive and the strength. And it may reach and touch someone else in some part of the world, that they one day can also listen to it from hearing it from here. So it's the progression and the transformation and what it can do for each and everyone as someone that get in touch with it and understand what he's really saying about. I say it's a diversity sculpture. He says it's the Munchkin crew. And so, even though we have different words for it, it's basically we're saying something of the same sort. But again, my name is Taz Fireworks. I thank you so much for supporting and being a part of this. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Awesome. Thanks again for being patient and thanks for your time.